Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christian. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good night, good day. Wherever you are, whenever you're seeing this, I hope you are doing very good. So guys, today we're going to be talking all about Empress energy, how we can embrace our Empress energy and just spread the love, spread the vulnerability, and spread the strength and the creativity of Empress energy all around ourselves and the loved Empresses in our lives, especially with Mother's Day being right around the corner and just with springtime. You know, I feel like this is a great time to embrace your femininity, embrace your Empress energy, and just see it as a strength. A lot of times we struggle to find the balance between nurturing the people around us and nurturing ourselves, but we're going to be figuring out today how to embrace that Empress energy all across the board so you're getting what you need and the people in your life are getting what they need from you as well. So let's go ahead and get right into it, guys. And as always, when we're talking about Empress energy and pouring into yourself, there's no better way to do that than self-care and getting yourself something beautiful or something beautiful for the Empress in your life. So Mother's Day is around the corner, whether you want to give someone else or gift yourself, and it's never a bad time to gift yourself. Get into it with Ana Luisa. So I'm back with some more gorgeous pieces. You guys know I'm going to have the zoom in footage on the side so you guys can see the pieces that I'm going to be sharing with you guys this time. Ana Luisa is definitely becoming one of my favorite jewelry companies of all time. Their pieces are so unique. They definitely stand out. As you guys can see, I have a few new pieces, these rings, these necklaces, but these earrings and these gorgeous bracelets, these gorgeous dainty bracelets I already had from my last time working with Ana Luisa. So I just wanted to throw these pieces back on to show you guys, one, they look as gorgeous as they did when I first got them. And y'all know me, I'm wearing my jewelry every day. I'm out in it. It's gonna be on me, okay? So these pieces are definitely going to be lasting. And I also love that each piece comes in its own jewelry bag that is secure by magnets. I really love these. Every single piece comes in these. I think the packaging alone is definitely something that sold me on Ana Luisa. Second, it had to be the quality. And the third would have to be the selection. The fourth would have to be the free shipping. The fifth thing would have to be that the exchanges are free as well. And there's a 2-year warranty on all of these pieces. I mean, get into it. You guys know I love jewelry. I love pieces. I love adornments. And I think that's a really big part of Empress energy. Not skimping when it comes to taking care of yourself or taking care of the Empress in your life. But thankfully with Ana Luisa, you do not have to break the bank to get these beautiful pieces. So make sure you guys check down below in the description box. I have my link, of course, at the top of the description box. Shopping with my link, you guys are going to be able to save up to 25% off on your orders. So get into it, guys. Mother's Day is around the corner. And like I said, it's always a good time to gift yourself. So you guys know me, I'm a jewelry girl. And if you're a jewelry and accessories girl, you know you have to find that balance between good quality, good pricing, and good style. And Ana Luisa has knocked it out of the park across the board, okay? So make sure you guys get into it. Check down below in the description box to get into these gorgeous pieces and make someone's Mother's Day very special, or, you know, get something for yourself. So adornments, treating yourself, self-love, you guys know that's always super big with Empress energy. I think a lot of times we focus so much on taking care of everybody else and pouring into everybody else, we can forget about ourselves. So even if you are shopping for someone else, treat yourself as well. You know, throw a little something in there for you too. So moving on from treating yourself and pouring into yourself and spoiling yourself, I think that's something else that we need to be mindful of when we're embracing Empress energy, is what it specifically looks like for you. You know, I don't think that we can look at how anyone else needs love or needs care or needs attention and feel like that should work for us. And I think a lot of times it can make us feel like, well, I need more, so is there something wrong with me that this isn't enough for me, or this is enough for this person? Why can I not feel comfortable with this? Am I thinking too much of myself if I don't want to settle? How can I find the balance between getting what I want, but also making sure that the people around me maybe can fulfill those needs? And the gag is, or the most important thing is that sometimes you are going to be the only person that really knows how to pour into you. And not sometimes, low-key all the time. You know, you're the only person that knows exactly what you need. So it's not really about shifting what you need to suit everyone else. It's really about shifting your environment to make sure it's giving you what you need. And as an Empress, you are 100% in control of your environment. Seriously. If you're never treating yourself, you're never pouring into yourself, you're never spoiling yourself, you don't respect yourself enough to do certain things, you don't care about your birthday or care about celebrating yourself in certain ways, of course, it will be great to find people in your life that can do that for you. But we have to set the tone. As an Empress, you have to set the tone. The divine feminine energy rules the world, honey. We have to set the tone. So I think it's so important to show up for yourself and also say, I don't care who this is too much for. I don't care who can't, sustain or who can't meet these standards. These are my standards. Don't change your standards. Change the environment. Change who is around you. And as an Empress, you're in control of that. Now, that can be a hard thing to do because, of course, as an Empress, you don't want to cut certain people off. You don't want to have to go through life alone. You don't want to leave certain people behind, especially if you know they're dependent on your care, on your love, on your attention, what have you. But that always comes back to, putting yourself first. And I think as an Empress to me is mother energy. It's queen mother energy, someone that can take care of everybody. Queen medicine woman energy, someone that's a healer, the person that everybody always comes to. And I feel like as a woman, you're going to be an Empress anyway, whether you have children or not. You might be mothering anyway, or, finding ways to nurture regardless if you actually have children or not. So I think this is something that all women possess. I think we all have Empress energy in us. I think we all have divine feminine in us, but we have to get comfortable with the vulnerability, the humility of divine feminine, of Empress energy, and not feel like we just have to, be strong and take everything, because we don't have to. You get to decide what you want to take, what you want to tolerate, what you want to allow. Nobody has to put that on you. You're the only person that can say, I'm gonna accept this, or this is good enough for me. So make sure you're being really specific with your surroundings, and make sure that you're feeling like you're enough. Like I said, respect yourself, treat yourself, spoil yourself, love yourself, and don't feel like I'm not an Empress if I don't have these people around me. I'm not enough if everybody around me isn't happy with how I'm treating them. I'm not enough if everybody around me isn't comfortable. We need to shift our perspective of what a nurturer looks like, what a healer looks like. A lot of times we think that a healer is self-sacrifice. We think we have to sacrifice ourselves and put ourselves on the back burner and never take care of ourselves. But how many mothers do we know that never buy themselves anything, never treat themselves, always feel guilty spending money on themselves? They only want to focus on their children. How do you think they feel at the end of the day? How do we think that they feel? Versus someone else that is from jump being mindful of making sure they have energy for themselves. And I don't think anyone has a perfect journey to being an Empress or stepping into your creative, divine, feminine energy. You're going to have those ups and downs where you feel like, oh, I can still take care of these people even though they're not giving me what I need, even though they're disrespecting me, even though they're being rude to me. I can handle it. I can still show up for them. But we have to remember that the days of martyrdom are over. The days of setting ourselves on fire in the town square for protest is over. We don't need to do that anymore. We don't need to suffer to show someone that we're strong. We don't need to suffer to make others believe that we are worthy or make others believe that we are strong in what we say. We could just cut them off. We could just say, you know what, you don't have access to me anymore. We could just say, you know what, I'm going to put myself first and remove that person from my life. But some of us would rather do something as dramatic as literally setting ourselves on fire or literally sacrificing ourselves completely to there's nothing left. Some of us would rather do that than say to a friend or to a partner or even to your children, hey, I need some time to myself. I need a day to myself right now. So I think it's really, really important to recognize that the strength that comes from stepping into that Empress energy is not about being strong, that you can take all this abuse, and all of this, energy from people that are just dumping on you. It's about saying, I'm not going to take that. And when you say you're not going to take that, you leave room for the people that you actually can heal, And I guess I just kind of want to explain Empress energy as a whole. The Empress is the energy of creation. The Empress is the energy of divine, feminine, motherly, creative energy. The Empress is very intuitive, very blessed, very kind, very soft-spoken, very creative, very actionable. The Empress isn't an energy that knows what needs to be fixed and doesn't do anything about it. The Empress energy is an energy that, maintains order in their life, in everyone's life around them. And that is what allows them to continue to elevate and grow, I also think that anyone can possess Empress energy and divine feminine energy, as always, so this isn't just for the women out there, for the people that identify as women. Everybody, I think, is a healer, is a nurturer. We all have people that we're supposed to uplift and heal. So take this as an opportunity to say, I have to heal in a way that works for me, Even in your friendships, you might be the Empress of your friend group. People come to you for advice. People come to you when they need something serious or when they need, someone to have a real conversation with. So you could even be the Empress in that setting. But do you feel fulfilled after those conversations? Or do you just feel like you're being used for your advice? You know, we have to ask ourselves these questions so we can recognize, okay, this is who I am as an Empress, or this is who I am as an Empress. You know, some people give advice all day and they love that. Some people handle kids and take care of kids all day, and that's how they perform their Empress duties and their creative, nurturing duties in the world. Some people are artists. Some people travel the world. Some people write books. There's so many different ways that we create, heal, and inspire the world. So it doesn't have to look one way. Divine feminine energy doesn't have to look one way. Empress energy doesn't have to look one way. So you really want to challenge yourself to figure out what that looks like for you, what that represents for you, what that means for you. And we want to see that strength in that vulnerability. You know, I also think that, it's very important to make sure you're aware of that toxic masculine energy that we all possess. And that's why I said, because this is a self-drag. I'm not talking about the podcast men in the world, you know, I mean us. When we want to say something and we talk ourselves out of it, that is toxic masculinity. When you say that you're not getting what you need in a friendship, and instead of speaking up about it, you just say, no, I'm good. That's toxic masculinity. You know, when you know that something is bothering you and you make yourself push it down. When someone doesn't take your emotions seriously and you just let that happen. You know, toxic masculinity doesn't always look like yelling and being over the top and being very, very outwardly abusive. Sometimes toxic masculinity looks like mentally and emotionally kind of stifling yourself, or just suffocating yourself emotionally and not letting yourself have the freedom to feel. You know, having the freedom to feel and standing by your feelings, I think that is just something to take from this video. If you don't take anything else from it, having the freedom to feel and to stand and act on your feelings is definitely going to let you elevate in that Empress space. You know, a lot of us can't really manifest. We can't get the job that we want, the relationship that we want, because we're not even facing our own emotions in our current life. We're not even facing how we feel in our current life. We can't even recognize, oh my God, I should be doing better. Oh my God, I'm not doing enough. We can't even do that in our own life. So how can we expect ourselves to seek out, you know, something better when we're not even able to kind of maintain what we have around us? And I think the hardest thing about being an Empress that a lot of times we don't recognize, or we don't want to accept, or we just try to ignore or brush past. The hardest thing about being an Empress is keeping the order and maintaining the order. That's the hardest thing. And the reason it's so hard is because that shouldn't even be your job. You know, in a perfect world, women who are Empresses, or people who are Empresses, whether you are a medicine woman or a medicine man or a medicine person, whether you're healing people in any different way or whatever you want to think or feel about yourself, if you are a healer, it's 100% up to you to maintain order in your life, because you're working with people who are sick, people who are broken, people who might not always be thinking about boundaries or, you know, protecting your space or your spirit or what have you. So you have to be the one that says, no, I'm not going to do this in this way. I'm not going to answer you in this way. I'm not going to pour into you. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm not going to accept this. I'm not going to, you know, allow that. We have to be the ones to stand up and say that versus problem solving because we know how to problem solve, you know? I think it's, and I've said this analogy a few times, you have to see yourself as, you know, the very, very expensive clinic, the very expensive hospital that is maybe $1,000 a day. You know, we've all heard about rehab facilities that are $1,000 a day. It's so much to get well, depending on where you want to go. And healthcare as a whole, in America anyway, is really, really expensive, right? If you want the best care, the best doctors, it's going to be very expensive. So because of that, you're not going to just have anybody off the street going into these very high-priced clinics, because they know if I go there, I'm going to have to be ready to get well. I'm going to have to listen to the doctor's orders. I'm going to have to take it serious. I'm not going to be able to play any games, you know? And that's what we have to do. We can't say, oh, I'm just a free clinic. I'm helping everybody, from the people that need brain surgery to the people that need Band-Aids. Figure out what your ministry is in your healing. Figure out how you heal in a way that brings balance into your life. And that's something else about embracing that Empress. You have to heal and do things that bring you balance and serve in a way that brings you balance. If you are left burnt out, drained, exhausted, worn down, every time you give somebody advice or every time you help somebody out, there's a chance that the way you're performing your service isn't really adding balance to your life. And unfortunately, that can cause us to develop an unhealthy attachment, because whether something feels good or bad doesn't really matter if it's satisfying you. Sometimes something bad can satisfy you. It may feel bad, but it's a satisfaction that you're getting. Like if someone cheats on you and you cheat back, you might feel bad that you cheated back, but it satisfied you in that moment because you were able to maybe make them feel how you felt or did what they did to you or whatever. If you have a friend that is maybe a bad person to you, or this person was a bad person to you, and you cut them off and you look on Instagram and you see that their life is in shambles, you see that they're not doing well, that might be a bad feeling to be like, yes, I'm glad, but you're satisfied in that, And I think it's very similar to being in a space where people are treating you bad and you're satisfied with that. And I think we need to look at that the same, because a lot of times we feel like, oh, I'm not a bad person because, I don't talk about people and I'm not happy when people are doing bad. And, just like the examples that I was saying, like when somebody that did you bad is going through a bad thing, you might not be happy about it. But if you allow yourself to be satisfied by yourself being in a bad space, if you're satisfied when people use you, if you're satisfied when people take advantage of you, if you're satisfied when people just beg and beg and beg and beg and beg and leave you depleted, if you feel satisfied by that, that's just as detrimental as rubbing your fingers and being happy when someone is, failing. Because essentially you're failing yourself and you're okay with that. Like, that's not right. And satisfaction isn't always, yes, I'm so happy about this. Sometimes satisfaction is, this is fulfilling a part of me. It might be fulfilling the part of you, like let's say you have abusive parents or you have abusive people in your family and you always wanted love from them. You might seek out people that abuse you, but also give you that love. Maybe tell you, hey, I'm happy you're a friend. I'm happy to have you in my life, even though they're abusing you. So we also have to recognize, is my service my strength? Is my service bringing balance into my life? Or am I always taking care of everybody else? Am I always pouring into everybody else? Am I always, figuring out how I can elevate this person without ever really giving myself what I need? Without ever really saying, hey, why am I always feeling drained every time this person calls me? And hey, if you're a healer, you have had that friend before in your life. You might not have them in your life right now, but you've had that friend where every time they call you, you get a pit in your stomach and you start feeling the anxiety already because they asking for some money. They're going to be on the phone crying for an hour. It's going to be something dramatic. We already know. You already know. So you have to ask yourself that same thing, like, is this really benefiting me? Am I really stepping into the Empress energy? Because what also is so important about being an Empress, you're creating 24/7 with the energy that you allow around you. So if you have people around you that love you, that support you, that lift you up, you will bear good fruit. You will bear good fruit. You will be able to create things that are substantial, create things that sustain you, create things that make you feel good, create things that help you grow and learn and advance, versus being in a space where you feel like you can't get past step one. If you are in a space right now and you feel like you can't get past step one, look at the people in your life and ask yourself, is the service putting balance into your life or imbalance? Because a lot of us can't get past step one because we're giving everybody else all of our energy. And we can't get past step one because we get ready to get in step two and somebody else calls us and throws our life off for the next 3 months. So we have to be able to recognize, is my service bringing things into my life that I want? Or is it just allowing me to continue on this pattern? And when you are blind to who you can help, who is it going to benefit, who's going to waste your time, when you're not able to recognize those things, you are really, 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 really wasting your glory years. You're wasting your life because there's so much more that you have to offer. There's so much more that the people in your life need from you than you just laying down and saying yes, you just tolerating everything, you just being okay with everything. And the people in your life want you at your best, and you don't want to worry about appealing to people that are sick. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like if you're trying to write a book about how to get off the streets or how to get rid of addiction or how to overcome addiction, and you're trying to sell this book to people who are active in their addiction and they don't want to get better. You're going to feel like a failure because you're going to feel like, oh my God, these people don't want to get the help. They don't want to get the help. But why not find people who want that help? And it's something that I dealt with and experienced, feeling like I wasn't a good friend, feeling like maybe I don't have anything to offer in friendships. I had to look at myself and be like, me? And this is something that I felt recently, y'all. Like maybe like at the beginning of this year, I was really battling like, am I a good friend? Am I giving enough to my friendships? Am I showing up in the right way for my friendships? Am I doing all that I can? And I had to recognize, let me not feel inadequate, because I'm putting myself in situations where people don't appreciate me, where people do not value me, where people are not prioritizing me and what I have to offer. Because what happens is when you prioritize everybody else's healing and they don't prioritize showing you appreciation and gratitude for what you're doing for them, you're always going to ask yourself, am I doing enough? Am I a good friend? Am I showing up as I need to? Am I a good partner? There must be something that I'm doing, because I'm giving my all and I'm not seeing anything change within this person. I'm not feeling like they really appreciate it. So there must be something that isn't aligning there. And of course, we always go to ourselves first, but that takes time. It takes time to grow and recognize I can only create one in the environment that I'm in. So if I'm in an environment that is toxic, if I'm in an environment where I'm not getting gratitude, where no one cares about me, where I'm not a priority, where no one is ever thinking about me or worried about me, no one can really take care of me because they're not taking care of themselves, I'm always going to feel like I'm not doing the right thing, you know? And one more story or analogy. I really love Botched. I'm obsessed with the show Botched. Do you guys like Botched? I love Botched with Dr. Nassif and Dr. Dubrow. I love Botched. And there was a really, really difficult case that they were working on. And this person had a collapsed nose job. They do a lot of nose jobs. This person had a bad nose job and the nose wouldn't heal because they were a smoker. And Dr. Nassif did this great nose job on this guy. And when he came back to get seen again, his nose was dying, and they were like, are you smoking again? And he was smoking. And Dr. Nassif was so disappointed because he did a great job to save this person's nose, and he smoked when he was supposed to be healing and literally messed it all up. He said he wasn't smoking. He wasn't smoking before the surgery, but after the surgery, he was smoking immediately. And I think that's how a lot of us can feel. Like, I told you not to do this, or I gave you all the tools, or I did whatever I can, and it still wasn't enough. If you go through that so many times, eventually your mind is going to start playing tricks on you, and you're going to ask yourself, am I wrong? Am I the problem? Am I not telling people what to do? Am I not letting people know this is what I need? Am I just not doing what I need to do for the people in my life? Is it me? Is it me? And that's not to say that you're going to give people advice and they're going to follow it to a T and live their best life. But if you're someone that's knowledgeable, if you're someone that's a healer, you have to have people in your life that are interested in being healed. That's literally what it comes down to. Because I could very well say, oh, I'm not listening to anybody unless they're more psychic than me. I'm not listening to anybody unless they got more followers than me. I could very well say that because I have a healing platform, but I do not. I do not. I welcome in healing from every space. From every space. I welcome in anybody to be an empress in my life and heal me and steer me on the correct path. Because I know the power of that. And no matter what someone's credentials are or what someone has to offer, this person might have a word for you. And everyone doesn't feel like that. A lot of people in your life feel like, oh, well, they can't tell me nothing, or, oh, I know they keep suggesting this, but I know they don't even want to hear about this bad relationship anymore, but that's just too bad. You know, you have to have people in your life that see you and value you as someone that is bright, as someone that is strong, as someone that is kind, as someone that has morals and values, as someone that they can lean on when they can't support themselves. When I'm second guessing myself, I had to call my girlfriend and say, girl, am I a bad friend? I'm really feeling like a bad friend because I'm not really figuring out what's working out with me and this person. Something's going on. I'm not really knowing what's happening right now. Something's going on. I feel like I'm just not doing enough. You know, I need empresses in my own life that can say, you are doing enough and this is why. And this is what you need to do to make sure you're not feeling like this again. And this is how you make sure you don't feel like this again, girl. I probably wouldn't have gotten there if I just left myself to figure it out on my own, because I don't always feel confident in my decisions. I don't always feel like I'm doing the right thing. So sometimes we need people that can, you know, just give us that empress energy as well. And if you're an empress that's in a space where you're not giving yourself what you need, can you really trust someone else to come in and give you advice? You know, can you really trust that you're going to listen and apply what someone else says, you know? Because when we know there's things that we could be doing and we don't want to do them, it might be difficult for us to take advice from someone else. And then we kind of become the person that has kind of turned us into an empress that isn't really able to operate at their full capacity. We become that same person for our friend that tries to give us advice because we've been beat down by the people in our life, you know? So I think it's really important to not see being an empress or being a healer or being a divine feminine. We don't need to see this as like a soft energy, and I hate dark feminine energy. I hate dark feminine energy. I hate people talking about the dark feminine, because for me, there is no dark feminine. Feminine energy is that sultry, seductive, siren, healing, I'm gonna get you together no matter what it takes energy. Feminine energy has never been light and dainty, and masculine energy is hardcore. That's not how it is. Feminine and masculine energy both have spaces where there has to be a space for femininity, where there has to be a space for gentleness, and there also has to be a space for structure. So there is no one size fits all feminine or masculine energy. It doesn't make you more masculine or dark feminine. All of that is hogwash as far as I'm concerned. Femininity might look dark sometimes, but that doesn't make it dark. It just makes it what it is, because it's all of those things, you know? And when we don't recognize it's all of those things, we then separate, the soft life girlies versus the dark feminine, and we cause more separation. And we feel like we have to be this type of healer, a loving light girly, or we feel like we have to be this shadow work type of girly, when in reality, we're both of these things all the time. And when you're not, when you try to be too love and light and you don't acknowledge what darkness is coming up, you're gonna go nuts. And when you're too much into the darkness and you don't acknowledge the points of light, you're gonna go nuts. So we need both of these things. We need the strength, we also need the healing. We need the service, but we need it to benefit us. We need the creative love, manifestation energy, but we also need it in a healthy space. You know, it's going to maybe challenge us, that's going to maybe bring out some of our darkness and help us heal along that creative process. So I think overall, you know, embracing our Empress energy is going to help us really step into who we are as healers, step into who we are as, you know, the next generation of, you know, ancestors, of elders, of people that are going to be teaching the younger generation, it's okay to cry, it's okay to do this, it's okay to this is how we heal, you know. And I think it's such a beautiful thing that we're seeing so many young people, and shout out to all my young folks that's watching me right now. And young folks, I mean, anybody 21 or under, I think it's great that we have so many young men, women, and people that are passionate about healing, passionate about love, and passionate about bringing love back into the world. And I think that focusing on who you are as a healer is definitely going to be making big changes in that for you guys. So yes, that is a few pointers. Those are a few things about how to embrace that Empress energy. How are you guys going to be embracing your Empress energy, or what are some things that stuck out from you from this video? Let me know down below in the comments section. And also, don't forget to get into these gorgeous pieces. I know you guys have been living for them and loving them as I've been getting into this video. Get into these timeless pieces by Ana Luisa. Check the top of the description box to save up to 25% off on your order using my link. Last 2 years, tarnish resistant, humidity resistant, very strong, great quality, great shipping, and free exchanges. You really can't say anything more about a company. So make sure you guys get into it and shop Ana Luisa. Remember, my link is at the top of the description. I appreciate you guys as always. I love y'all, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys. Bless.